Happy Friday, guys, and welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Dubs. I'm your host, Bill T. Well, on today's podcast, I'm broadcasting out of the Netherlands today, and I'm at a hotel called the General, and we're on the Cal-Look Caravan that was put on by Ritchie and the DFL and a bunch of other people that have helped put this thing on. And today we're going to have some of the guys that helped put this event on come on the podcast and talk about the genesis of this, where it came from. But I can tell you this, you guys are going to watch on Instagram that, you know, where I've been and what we've been doing. And it's been a blast. We got here about a week ago. And so far I've traveled probably about 700 miles in a 78 Katastrophenschutz bus, which is a specialty bus that was built specifically for emergency preparedness for villages back in the day. And that's courtesy of Andy Finch, Andy the Paint on Instagram. Go check him out and follow him. It's been a real rad time just cruising that with myself and my wife. We've been up here for about 8 days so far. The Cal-Look Caravan started earlier this week on Monday, and we've been going from Wolfsburg to Onsabruck. So we started Wolfsburg, toured the factory, checked out the museum. Well, didn't tour the factory. Checked out the museum, took in some sights over there. Then went over to the place, the Karmann factory, and had a big photo shoot over there with a bunch of the cars that are on the Cal-Look Caravan, as well as got to tour a lot of really unique cars at the Karmann factory. One of the cool things was they had the Type 34 Fastback there, and I went ahead and started asking a bunch of questions and called the guy over, see if he could open the rear engine compartment and a bunch of stuff. So they also had a Ghia TC there as well. So I was pretty stoked to see all these cars, check out a bunch of stuff. It's almost sensory overload. You know, I'm going to have to go back and watch some footage to get an idea of the things that I saw earlier today. Tonight's the day. It's Wednesday night, and tomorrow, Thursday afternoon, we'll be rolling into Chimay. We're here. I'm here at the outdoor lounge over here at the hotel we're staying at, and we are going to be we're going to be on the road again tomorrow. Another 145 miles. So far this week we've traveled 540 miles just from Wolfsburg to here, and I'm currently in Wageningen, Netherlands is where I'm at right now. So the General Hotel. So we're hanging out here. There's probably 20 plus cars in the whole cruise and lineup. So it's been eventful. It's been exciting. We're going to kind of get a play-by-play of some of the challenges that we've had. There's definitely going to be a video on this, and it may be 2 or 3 parts. But there's been a lot of wild stuff that's happened and a lot of memories made on this particular trip. But on this podcast today, we're going to get the 2 guys that have been influential and pivotal in making this happen, which is Ritchie and Otto from DFL. So we'll get these guys on the podcast here in just a few minutes and break down how this whole thing started, what's been the process of putting the logistics together, and how they believe it's coming out, since we're on the eve before it's technically over, which is Wolfsburg to Chimay Cal-Look Caravan. So pretty excited for that. So don't forget, guys, if you haven't signed up for One Crazy Weekend yet, go get your tickets today. Get your rooms booked at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. Go to letstalkdubs.com to get that information. Click on the link, book your room, prepay for your registration for your show and for the poker run. It's going to be a blast this year, October 3rd through the 5th at the Orleans Hotel and Casino. One Crazy Weekend. It's going to be strip cruise, car show, and poker run. So don't forget to support our sponsors. Sponsor Let's Talk Dubs. That's Ross Wolf, high performance aftermarket quality parts built for enthusiasts by enthusiasts. Go check them out today at rosswolf.com. And also VW Trends Magazine. Back on the scene after long hiatus. VW Trends Magazine, not the same old stuff. Features, technical articles, air-cooled, and some water-cooled VW. So go check them out today at vwtrendsmagazine.com. So without any further ado, guys, let's get into it today on this episode. The Cal-Look Caravan with Ritchie and Otto on Let's Talk Dubs.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen. It's got everything that people who like the bug like. So if you happen to see a good-looking Volkswagen, don't panic.
Okay, everybody, so I'm here with the two guys that kicked off the Cal-Look Caravan. The two guys have been influential in putting this whole thing on. This week, I think by the time we finish the drive from Wolfsburg to Chimay, it's going to be about 680 miles, 650, 660 miles. Depends on how many times you got to go back and pick up a car part that fell off. But other than that, add all those parts and pieces together, and we've got a few miles. So on today's show, I've got Russell, Ritchie, and George, Otto. Guys, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks.
Hi, Bill.
So
Hi, Bill.
how did this – now this has been an awesome beginning of this week, and it's going to culminate with EBI, which will be just a blur and all this in a few days. How did the idea for this come together?
Oh, a few years ago, George had showed me a picture of DFL's. It was our anniversary weekend or something, and they had 4 or 5 Cal-Look clubs, and they were all, each member was standing looking at a hillside, and there was a photograph, and you saw their different tops. And we talked about why the Cal-Look clubs should do more together in Europe. And that idea just was in our head that it'd be great to do something better together. And I think just stemmed on last year. We always do something special for EBI, and I spoke to George about, it'd be great to go and do a Cal-Look Caravan and do it from, obviously, Wolfsburg, the birthplace of the cars. And George and his fellow club members were fully engaged in that idea, I think,
Absolutely.
from the beginning.
Yep.
And to be honest with you, it was just some silly ideas, let's see what we can do, and then try and put it together. So that's where the idea came from.
Now, George, you got a lot of, your club's been great. DFL
so
has
much.
just done so much to try to make this, a lot of the logistics and stuff like that. The barbecue you guys had was nice. It was,
Thanks.
it was first class. And
Excellent.
Then, so what parts of this were you helping Russell? Like the two of you got me. He's got the idea. You guys started talking and thought this would be something for the books. What was your vision of kind of how this is going to come together?
When Russell approached me last year at the Wolfsburg show, and he asked us if we could do the German part of the trip, we of course said, yeah, no problem. We had the idea. We have 2 club members living in Wolfsburg, and both properties of both people are not big enough to host a barbecue like this. So we talked to another guy we know. They have a nice old farmhouse, which is converted to apartments, and they rent it out to people who own classic cars. So only people who own classic cars live there together. And it's a 4 square. I don't know if you call that. It's like
a fourplex. Yeah.
Yeah, and with a big yard in the center. And they said, we can do the barbecue for you, so you don't have to clean up, you don't have to worry about anything, which was important for us because next day we were on the road with our cars.
Yeah.
So we decided to take that chance and have the barbecue there. And then we knew, okay, what else would be interesting for the people to see. So we thought about Onsabruck and the Karmann factory, which is now owned by Volkswagen. And we have good connections to the Karmann connection, to the Karmann factory as well. So we were able to book a tour, plus to have the cars inside the Karmann facilities, which is usually not possible. You can't go with your private car on that property. So we were allowed to do that, and we knew, okay, we cover the German part of the tour with some really nice events.
No, yeah. It's been fantastic. I think for me when I heard about this, I thought like one, it's a long time. 2, it's a lot of driving. 3, it's a one in a lifetime experience. I think these are as we look back fondly as enthusiasts of the hobby. That I know your passion, my passion. It all comes from us being these guys looking at the magazine, thinking, "Oh man, what would it be like to be there that time doing that?" Which is essentially what's happening today, right? This caravan, I think, is the beginning of something that will show people kind of what's possible out there with respect to, cars, especially these Cal-Look cars, right? I mean, I was counting the other day when we're on the highway, there's 20 plus cars running 48 IDAs, and they're all, I mean, these are cars that are built to run quick little runs, Saturday night, kind of alleyway street fighters and things like this. And these guys are on the road, hauling the mail, and we're here going through the freeways in Germany and the Netherlands and tomorrow Belgium. And so far the freeways have been really, really nice, been some good cruising. There's been a few hiccups and some events, which is to be expected in something like this.
I think we were fortunate, Bill, that on the Monday when we all arrived, we were able to correct things, and on the cars that came from the UK, definitely a bit of tweaking was needed because we'd run out of time. But we had a great photo shoot there in one of the car parks in front of the main office building, which was superb. Obviously the barbecue at night gave us a run out into the country and back, and the weather's been terrific, and we saw some just beautiful German scenery. And then yesterday's cruise part was basically mostly off-road, on country roads.
Yeah.
And that was just wonderful to drive through, especially when you see lines of old Volkswagens beating through the countryside. Today's was a bit more, as you say, Autobahn and that, but it was good. It was different. I think that what you've seen is that people do use their cars, people want to use their cars, but sometimes the thought of it puts people off.
Yeah.
And I think we've proven, and to be fair, I think 50% of this whole thing has been that DFL have been so involved, and their team, because if you look at where we are today, we've came from Germany into Holland, we've some Dutch guys have joined us tonight, which is great. We had a good experience today, but it really started off in the homeland, and that has made it extra special. If you consider how many people's in Germany currently because of the European soccer nationals that are on at the moment,
yeah.
And you consider that so much people are in country in Germany, it was unique. This opportunity will probably never happen again. Having Bill Schwimmer, Rick Sadler here from the States, Now's coming in from Japan. There's a lot of people made a lot of effort to support this caravan in various stages. The people that have turned up and driven, I think that's the biggest thing, to have 20 odd cars and 20 odd drivers driving them every day. That's special,
It is.
because it's so far. They all had to travel. Some of the German guys travelled 6 hours to get to Wolfsburg to start the caravan. It wasn't like it was, it's in Germany, it's an hour down the road. They travelled 6 hours to get there.
Yeah.
And they helped support by getting all the T-shirts designed and made. Olaf did a superb job of that, and then. Who was it got it arranged to go and get them? The guy with the notch. Otto got them arranged. We got dash plaques made that are truly the best we've ever seen. And then, added people like yourself coming on it, Dean Kirsten being on it, and some guests coming in and out, Keith and Ron were there at the beginning, and then there's some other people. Neil Somewhere Mighty was there today.
Right.
It's just been a great event to bring people together who've got similar passion, same interest, and prove that it can be done. And I think that it's a credit to everybody that's made the commitment to come and do it. It's really made it worthwhile, and I know that we're delighted with what's happened so far.
Yeah. Now, George, with your group, have you guys had any issues, any hiccups, things like that with your group?
Cars are well prepared. We're Germans. I don't want to say it too loud. We still have another day to go to Chimay, but up until now, cars are running great. And it's fun. It's so much fun to drive the cars. Usually, if you go to a show, nothing against a regular show, but in Europe, we have 3-day shows from Friday to Sunday. And you show up on Friday, you park your car, you fire up the barbecue and open a beer, and then you sit there or walking around at the show until Sunday, but you never ever drive your car again until you drive back home. And this time it's more like you're driving from one event to another in a small group, which is really fun because you get to know foreign people or other people. You're not only hanging out with your club brothers, you meet people from the US, from Scotland, from England, and it's so much more fun than being static at one show. I love to go, don't get me wrong, I love to go to European Bargain, to Spa, but this is really special.
Well, I think also when we're all in our head, right, we're visioning ourselves driving this car we're going to build. We don't vision ourselves sitting in a car show like this in a chair next to it, right? We're envisioning driving it. So there's a part of it where when you're on the freeway, you look in your side view mirror and you see 5 cars behind you. You're like, not only do I look cool, the guys behind me look cool, and everybody next to us thinks we look cool. So, and I think it's funny. I've always equated the car hobby to like the pursuit of cool. Like when we were kids, we impressionable, we saw somebody said, that guy, now that's cool. And I got to be cool, so I need a car, a this, a that, a jacket, whatever I need to be cool. But it's like when you're with your guys, because normally you kind of get, sometimes if you're just in a Volkswagen on your own, you kind of get, snubbed a little bit. But I've seen nothing but people that's passed us all day, especially with me and the Orange Pumpkin, everybody's excited to see us. And then when I'm either the first or the last car, they'll go through and see all the cars, and they see me, and they're just like, people are just excited to see all these cars on the road.
It's been a long time since I remembered driving down the road where people were waving that, speaking to you in garages, and that has happened all week this week, you know. And that has been that's something that happened in the 90s. It's not really something happening now, but because there's been so many, and we've been in strange places, you can see wow, that's impressive, that's cool. And I think that is an important thing that we've experienced,
Yeah, today when we were out in front of the Karmann factory, there was, how many cars do we have there? 20?
Over 20,
Over 20 cars. We're kind of gridlocked in front of the place waiting for them to open the gate. And then all the people working in the buildings all went to the windows. Yeah. they're all looking out their window, getting disturbed on a Wednesday morning because this thundering, idling group of 48 IDAs and big fat boy mufflers out front just sitting there idling. So it's been really cool, especially with the small towns that we've driven through.
Yeah.
There's so much, and I've got so much footage that you guys will see if you go to the YouTube channel and check out the video. So much footage of going through these little tiny villages and these little towns, and then the open roads and the farmhouses and all this beautiful German scenery that we've been enjoying this week. And the weather, as long as you're not sitting still directly in the sun, the weather's been perfect. It's cool enough when you get driving that you cool down pretty good. And me being from Vegas, as I'm driving, I'm thinking, man, these engines got to love this weather, because this weather is nice and cool for these motors. And these things are just singing along. But we've had a couple mishaps. I mean, we had a couple hiccups on day one, the picture day. We're trying to get the Aronson home cars going. And and Lanny talked about that for a minute. And you brought some NOS 48 IDAs. That so far
NOS carbs just in case.
Right. So we have other cars that have been cannibalized throughout the trip because of. So we've had some people with some ramp sticking on the accelerators.
Yeah.
And then we had a couple guys kiss
with a fan belt go, yeah.
We had a fan belt go. Yeah, so
we've had but you know what? We were prepared with we've had 2 accelerator cables go as well.
Yep.
But as a group, we're prepared. As a group, we've helped everybody out. Yeah. And I think, you look around now and there's a mixture of nationalities just sitting speaking. Yeah. It's now a team, a group of people that all have one love, one thing, and I think that is fantastic, and that's been the biggest plus. The cars, we all love the cars. They're all different, but they're all the same.
Yeah.
And I just think that the mishaps are part of the fun. Yesterday was probably a really good shakedown run, because if you consider today, we only really had one minor problem today, and that was a blowout that poor Jim Dix had. But other than that, we've had no really mechanical issues today. And that's phenomenal when you're driving 120 miles in the heat, 26, 28 degrees, 55, 60, 70 mile an hour in places in 40 IDA cars that aren't really built for long runs.
Right.
And I think some of the mishaps yesterday, we came from Scotland with 8 cars, and trying to get 8 cars ready and having different drivers in them all the time makes it difficult. It takes a bit of time, and it needs to be fine-tuned. We don't do caravans all the time, so to go and just say, hey, let's go to Wolfsburg and then go and drive across Europe, that's a big thing. And I think yesterday was good to just feel where we were,
Yeah.
I think it's positive. I mean, I've got a shout out for Dennis over there. Dennis has got the Empi car. He drove from Dundee in Scotland all the way down to Newcastle, across the ferry, all the way down to Bad Karmann.
Yeah.
Then he came up to Wolfsburg, and then he's done the whole trip with not one mishap. He'd stopped 3 times and helped people. If there was a spirit of Cal-Look brotherhood, He is showing it this week. I'm not joking. Maybe it's not got the Cal-Look car that you would all want.
Oh,
but
I
he's got
love
an
his car,
MP.
yeah.
It's an MP GTV car. You know, I mean, it looks incredible. But it's the fact that he's done all that travel and that. To me, that's what makes it special. You know, that so many people. You know, to see Rick and Bill driving their cars today, it is cool.
Yeah.
To park beside them, it is cool. In Germany,
Yeah,
in Holland.
Yeah, you
Pinch
think
me.
you think of the level of iterations that have gone throughout, you know, especially with, you know, Rick Sadler here, the Forrest Gump of the Volkswagen world, right? If something was going on, Rick is somewhere in the background, some way connected to something happening. So it's been quite an experience. I sure this is for sure something that's going in the books. One of the things that we talked about with Bill and Lanny when I had them on the podcast first is they use the words. They use the words trip of a lifetime. And I think that's one of these things where it's doable, it's feasible, it's quite involved to be involved in something like this. It's involved to be in it, it's involved to put it on. I mean, it's a lot of work, and it truly shows, I think, the passion that people have to see something like this be successful. You know, you see my event back home in Vegas, and it's a lot of in your car. It's not so much show and shine. It's the people, it's hanging out, it's afterwards,
Right.
it's before, it's driving over here as a group, driving over there as a group, and making it small, manageable batches as much as we can. But it's people have so much more fun when they're in their cars in an interactive experience. You know what I mean? Something where it's tied back together, and this is epic. I mean, to be able to cross the country like this, you know, cross half of Europe going to this car show is pretty sweet. I mean, for myself, I've just been having such a great time, and you know, and I brought my wife with me, and a lot of, you know, there's a touchy situation when you bring your wife because she could get not happy, and she's just been an angel the whole time, and she loves road trips, and we've been cruising. It's been unbelievable scenery, which has really made it so great. You know, you're going through so many of these little pockets and places that who knows when's the last time that they've had a caravan of 20 classic Volkswagens come through there, let alone, you know, 20 cars, especially when we took the beaten path, the less traveled path yesterday, just going through off of the highway, you know. So it's been a great trip. We've had a couple cars that Mark Ray and Mark Payne kissed bumpers today. You know, that was out in front of the Karmann Museum. So we've had some mufflers drag. We've had a lot of stuff happen, which really, in reality, it adds to the experience. You know what I mean? It's what makes a good story. So, and the thing is, everybody here is in really good spirits about it. A little ding, a little dimple, a little issue, a little bit of a breakdown. But it makes it's one thing when you're by yourself on the side of the road struggling to fix this to catch up with the guys. It's another thing when everybody pulls over, and it's a team effort to kind of build that thing. It really shows you the brotherhood of the Volkswagen hobby, you know, like this thing that brings us together, that we all have this passion for. And I've been really thankful and fortunate to be on this trip and to be able to experience this, document so much of it, which I'm really excited about putting the video together. This thing.
That'll be good.
And it's been an incredible experience. I definitely think, you know, it's officially over tomorrow. It ends tomorrow. We get to Chimay technically after that.
Well, tomorrow night it finishes when we arrive in Chimay. We are planning to drive in together on Friday morning, but if you've ever arrived at EBI, that's never the most organised thing in the world, so that might be a bit of pressure. But tomorrow we're going to Kurt's museum tomorrow morning, and then we'll head down to Chimay after that. And that's a lengthy drive tomorrow. That's just
145 miles from there to here.
And then we've got to go to Chimay after that. So it's not just a token gesture. So tomorrow's a big day. I think it'll be great. I think people will just blend in and take it. And you know, you're right. See that once in a lifetime. I don't think this will ever be repeated because, you know, we're just of an age of experience of reach that we could do that now.
Yeah.
Now we know what's involved, I don't think you'd want to do it again. Although we've really enjoyed it.
With enough time passes, let's say in 2 years.
Possibly. but you know what? We've done something with these people that has been special. And I would rather it remain special than it become every year, right? DFL have put an awful lot into this, right? Both in time, both in support, both in finance, right? And as a club, that's wonderful. I know I've put a bit of effort in, but we've had some sponsorship from like a Flat 4 to help with this, and some of those costs, because nobody's paid for anything really, Yeah, you've paid some food and you've paid some gas, but there's been organisation, they've had barbecues, they've had food, they've had plaques, they've had T-shirts, It's really been a tremendous effort to do this and not charge somebody for it. And I think that's what makes it special, that we all want to do it for the same reason. People are so nice, so polite, and we really have they say that Cal-Look clubs are about their members, right? So we are various Cal-Look clubs probably, and we've all bonded like we're one. Yeah. And I think that is really, really special, that's happened, because I can't imagine any other scene which would have done something like this and been able to pull it off.
Now, when you guys originally set this up, how many cars did you think would go on this?
So we've got 50 cars registered for the whole event, but we knew that some were joining in Holland today, some were going to join tomorrow in Belgium, and that's fine. Not everybody can take a week off work.
As you link up and the group gets bigger, it's even more it's more insane.
But what's happened is on social media, because the amount of pictures have been posted, an awful lot of people are saying, I wish I'd done that, I wish I'd made more effort, I wish I could have arranged it. But when you see it, it was very amateur done, we weren't trying to say it was professional, it was just a group of photos, this is what we're going to do. And now people have seen the result of that. I think, we could have had more, but to be honest, more about it might have been more dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're absolutely right. When people see on social media what is happening, we had 2 members of our club, and they wanted to, they said, okay, I can take the week off. So I will be there on Monday and Tuesday morning, and then we will join on Thursday. And after Tuesday morning, they decided, okay, we will make it happen, and we will arrive Wednesday evening, because we don't want to miss anything. And they really noticed that it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and it's so nice to sit together in the evening before and after the trip and chat and talk about Volkswagens and life in general. So they are here tonight, and it's exactly what happened. They were like on fire because they saw how good it is.
Well, I mean, it's unbelievably impressive right now that the car count's over 20 cars. For over 20 vintage cars to be driving this far so far is pretty impressive,
High performance cars.
Yeah, these are not stalkers.
Yeah, correct.
The only one that's stalkers
there's over 30 cars here now.
Yeah,
I can see 20 there. Yeah. Never mind the ones that are down there, and I can see at least 8. So we're over 30 cars now, easy.
Yeah. That's crazy.
And tomorrow, I think we're expecting 50 at Kurt's place. So.
Yeah, so I'm excited. I'm glad to be part of it. Thanks you guys for putting it on. Anybody that you guys want to thank for help for kind of put this on? I know you mentioned Flat 4.
Yeah, so Flat 4 now give us some sponsorship towards some of the things we've been doing. So, for example, we were at Porsche Gelderland today. We had sandwich buffet lunch laid on, and we had the tour, and that cost has been covered by Flat 4, which was great. We've got a trophy from them to award, which is wonderful for now to support us with that. He's supporting us by taking his Cal-Look car across. So we are hoping to have quite a decent Cal-Look display of cars at EBI, so we're hoping to get that arranged. I think my biggest thank you, actually, apart from to you for helping support and cover it, you know what I mean, because I think that's important that people know, but George and DFL, without them, this would have been nothing like it has been, I mean, yesterday we were arriving at the hotel, and George just said, do you want us to arrange some food? Go on then, that's a good idea, because we hadn't done that. 8 o'clock at night, we have a pizza restaurant outside garden to ourselves, large screen TV to watch England play terribly. From a Scottish point of view, that was excellent. Yet again, the Scots, Germans and Americans have united over football, which is wonderful. But to arrange that and to go there last night, and I think there was, 30 odd people. Yeah. It was fantastic.
Yeah,
tonight we have a meal booked now, and again, just without the DFL team, this would not have happened, right? And I have got the highest regard for them. I know that there's a lot of European Cal-Look clubs, but this is the best.
Yeah,
Thank you very
Period.
much.
well,
But-
I want to give some credit to DFL too, because from what I've seen that you guys have done, your members showed up. They've all got really nice cars. I mean, these are all committed Cal-Look guys to the core, and then for them to put the effort and energy, because I know what it's like to get a bunch of people on board to be willing to do something even when it's not your club. You know what I mean? Like, these are other people that are not in your club, but you're hosting them, and it really shows the unity that your club has, as far as, you know, everybody being on the same page with the same mentality of doing it for the greater good, which is the hobby. You know, that's the best part. So thanks for DFL for everything that you guys have done.
Thanks, but we also have to thank Dieter Landenberger from Volkswagen. He
Yes.
made it happen that we had the tour at the Volkswagen Museum, the Karmann Museum. They were really nice and helpful, and in particular Olaf for designing
Yes.
the dash plaques and the T-shirts. Really, really awesome. So, and Otto for organizing the Karmann event. I wasn't that much. I was involved, but lots of club members did a lot to arrange everything. And but we are a tight-knit group, and we know that we can rely on the others, and it worked fine.
Yeah, and I think that's something I've said all the time this few days, that I talk about DFL. I know that me and George have spoken, but every member in that club has supported it way and above and beyond, and it's been excellent. And I think that is proven by where we are tonight and what we've done. And, you know, it's the whole point of this idea was it'd be great to bring Cal-Look clubs together. It's done to a point. It's definitely brought Cal-Look people together, and I'll be honest, DFL and the effort and attendance from DKP members has assisted with that. But, you know, honestly, I'm now a DFL ambassador free of charge. It's ace, right? You know, we look at, you know, we talk in high regard in the Cal-Look scenes about DKP, you know, their history and all the rest of it. The photo shoot that we did on Monday outside, I wanted that similar to pictures that DFL do now. You know, yes, DKP did it a long time ago, but now a lot of the pictures all lined up cars, bumper to bumper, all the T-bar to T-bar, whatever, along in a line. We wanted something a bit more random, and we did that in front of the office building at the factory. And I think that, you know, it's about this old school thing, and it's about not moving forward. It's about keeping it clean, simple, like the cars, built on friendships, and that is really important. And, you know, without trying to sound really corny, without DFL and George and the team, this wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't have happened. You know? And I know it takes two, but it wouldn't have happened, because we could have turned up in Wolfsburg like we did at Bad Camberg and had a 2-day thing and run about, but you wouldn't have had all the attendances. You wouldn't have had the barbecue the same. You wouldn't have had this. You wouldn't have known which roads to go to. You know, language is a massive barrier, and although most Germans understand English and it's fantastic, to have Germans helping you plan a trip in Germany, this makes it easy. And it is. It's a home of the car. It doesn't matter how you word it, it's a home of the car. So coming into Holland to go to Belgium is brilliant and great. We meet more like-minded people. But, you know, we were in the birthplace of these cars. And I have the Don Metz Karmann convertible with us today, and it went back to Karmann where it was born. You know, Jim Dixon's Karmann gear, it was there, you know. That's special. You're never, ever going to... Average person will never do that unless an opportunity like this help. And it was just mind-blowing.
No. It's definitely been a great experience. I'm looking forward to more of it. You guys will check out the video that I'll have. I'll put some small snippets out by the time this podcast comes out on Friday, and it's just been great. I want to thank you guys for letting me be on the caravan with you guys and be a part of this, because I think it's just, you know, I remember one of my favorite things. That one of the favorite quotes that I have is Carroll Shelby said, "If I'd have known I was making history at the time, I'd have paid more attention." You know, and I think it's so cool that we're able to kind of document and savor this that they didn't have back in those days, and we've got a lot of video and a lot of little snippets of everything that took place, and it's just going to be, I know that everybody will remember this trip, and from things like this, there's an extra level of kind of connection you make with these guys on this thing. So I'm excited that almost everyone here has helped push the bus, so thanks, Andy, for that. And, you know, everybody's just been super cool. I'm looking forward to an easy drive tomorrow, and thanks again, guys.
Perfect. Thank you, Bill.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, everybody. So what I'm doing now is I've got a couple podcast alumni that have been on a previous episode of the podcast that you know, and some a couple other guys from the States, and we're just going to kind of get with them and go over their experience with respect to getting on the California or the Cal-Look Caravan. And today we're at our stop before we get to Chimay, which is where are we at, Lanny? Anyway,
somewhere in the
we don't know. We're in the woods right now. We're staying with the general right now is where we're at. And so on the podcast today from the States, I've got Bill Schwimmer with the famous 59 sunroof ragtop car, DKP car, but you also know that he had Pepto back in the day, and Lanny Hussey with Lanny Hussey's Custom Cars out of British Columbia. So North America,
BC. Yeah.
Vancouver, BC, North America represented. So guys, and we'll start with maybe Bill. We'll start with you first, real quick. So, you get the call about this idea. What did you think?
Well, I was honored to take the call, but I don't know. I just the thought of driving through Europe and all that, the logistics of it, had me a little apprehensive initially. But as it kind of unfolded, I knew it was something that was, once in a lifetime, was never going to happen again. So, when it got a little later, and we knew that this was, present, and we we're going to have to, start. I became really excited, and here we are.
And you've been here before, right? I mean, I think your car has been to Europe before. Is that right?
It went to Europe. It went to the UK in '96.
Okay.
So it's been a minute, but yes.
But when you came out here, it basically shipped out here, came to a car show, and you just kind of showed up.
Yeah, it was delivered to the venue and made a few drag strip passes and got back on the truck, and that was the end of it. Here, it's driven 300 something miles, which
398 to date from the start of Wolfsburg.
Yeah, so a car like that, is, I guess it can do it. It's still doing it, and it wasn't my initial plan when I built it, but it's been flawless so far, and it just keeps plugging along. And I'm very very excited to do it. And some of the moments at Wolfsburg and today at Karmann and all these things, there's stuff that's not going to take place again with this group here. So.
Right. Now, Lanny, with you, when you got the call, what did you think?
Well, I sent a message to Jim Dix in England, and I'd heard rumors about the caravan and this like inside, this secret group. I was like, how do I get in there? Like, I asked him mainly like what hotels and where's everybody staying? And he goes, hang on. Get a message 20 minutes later. All it said was, you're in.
Nice.
I'm in what? So he had sent a message to Russell Ritchie, who's basically does the organizes the the caravan part of it, and there's lots of logistics.
Yeah.
So then the way it was described was like with Dean's car being debuted,
right,
and then the other cars being shipped over, and the people that were going. But number one, it was the people. So who's going? As soon as they said Bill Schwimmer, I'm like, oh yeah, for sure. We've known each other for years. So then this is probably in the end of January or so, and then next step was you got to ask your wife, right?
You asked her for an excuse.
Yeah,
some of us brought our wives with us, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, good for you. So she said, absolutely. Right on. So it's gonna, for me, it's 13 days. I came in
That's
early.
a lot of time.
Well, I came in early to visit some family in England, but once we got on the ferry, so the ferry from England to Holland, get in the cars, drive to Bad Camberg, and every step of the way it has exceeded any of my expectations.
Yeah.
A combination of it's just beautiful weather,
right?
Beautiful roads, and the people. Like some of these people have only known a few days, but it's solid. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. And what was your guys like? What was your biggest apprehension about coming over here? Like, what was your biggest concern?
For me, just driving in Europe, on a car like that. It's not really a road trip car, but just I don't know, just see if it would make it. You know.
I mean, that's really the funny part, right? These like you build a Cal-Look car for Saturday night drag racing on the street, or meeting up with your buddies, or kind of an in-town run around here, run around there, kind of a meetup car. But it's not something that's built for like long haul trips, right?
No. You think of the car that I've been driving the last couple days?
Yeah.
The Aronson 63, the white one.
Yeah.
Everybody knows that car, and I drove that for hours and hours and hours, 75 miles an hour on the highway. And you think I wasn't nervous about that thing? Sitting in those bucket seats, white knuckle.
Right.
Like, oh my God,
Driving
how much
the
is
one.
this car
And
worth?
here, the semi-trucks, they're no joke, right? They're just stacked up on the right-hand side. I took some video of it today where
trying
there's
to
probably
pass
20,
them, yeah.
20 cars in a row. And not everybody's lucky to be in the orange missile like I am. So
Yes.
I kind of they honor me as an honorary trucker when they see me on the road. But it's definitely something different. What I have noticed here, at least myself, is there's, without question, if your blinkers work, there's a level of respect on the freeway. You put if you're going to pass and someone's slowing down in front, you put a blinker on, the person behind slows down, lets you in. So that's been really
Trucks or doesn't matter. Instead of just being like sticking to your guns, I'm not letting him in.
Right.
People slow down and are courteous to everyone else. It's pretty amazing. And the other thing you don't see here is people daydreaming in the fast lane.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen.
No, they're all business in the fast lane now. So the first stop we did was Wolfsburg. What was your best takeaway from Wolfsburg?
I think the Monday morning we left, in front of the factory, some of the pictures in front of the factory,
Right.
that was incredible.
Have you been before to Wolfsburg?
No, I've never been before.
Yeah.
And
I
then
haven't
we
been
drove
either.
through the little
Art museum thing, wasn't it? Under the tunnel?
whatever the walking tunnel. We kind of barged through that, and
You're supposed to.
but I mean, so the pictures are epic, and with the 3 stacks and the VW
Yeah,
lollipop.
we've only seen that in all the books, right? When it
Yeah.
talks about VW's original history, you kind of open the book, like, oh, there's that quintessential picture we always see with the stacks and the VW sign and all that stuff. And we were all there, just a couple days ago. So
And then the organizers picked the hotel that 3/4 of the hotel rooms, you're looking at the stacks, like right across the water.
yeah, the
Amazing.
hotel's right across the street from the factory, and it's got factory view rooms where you just sit out in your room and you can just see the hotel, the stacks. Also, it's just a car hauler, no big deal.
That's with all the Russell's cars in it.
And funny enough, it says Russell's Automotive Logistics.
The driver's name is Russell.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. Just can't get enough of the Russells. Just Russell over Russell. So
Can't say enough about Russell. It's unbelievable, the commitment and
no, it's been something that's been really for me. This has been, originally on this trip I was supposed to have my Type 34 was supposed to be done, but with some delays in the metal work and things like that. I mean, to get it done in 2 months would have been a record time regardless. But I'm driving the Catastrophen Schuts, and it's just been a good time. I mean,
Say that again?
The Catastrophen Schuts, and I've fallen in love with the thing because it's just so easy to drive. It's a cruiser. I don't even hear the motor. It's just
it's easy to start too.
Well, listen, we're not going to get into the start. Bump starting the thing from here bump starting from Hanover to old Chimay. So
Well, picture it in Vegas when you finally get it shipped there.
yeah, well, it'll be there. It'll be there soon enough, and we'll do a little bit of mods to it. So with this whole experience, now tomorrow we end up going to EBI. Both of you guys been to EBI before?
Never.
So you've never been to EBI. So I've been to EBI in 2014, and all I can say from going to that show is it's like a car show meets a festival meets
Rave.
a rave and meets like what is the one with like when they have at LS Fest, they have like a burnout box. So they'll have a burnout box.
Oh,
over
really?
there too. Yeah, it's pretty insane. I mean, there's a lot going on. And then the street that they have out front, they put a Christmas tree up and they've got a street blocked off, and they just do drag racing on that. So, I mean, I'm excited for the experience. It's one of these things when you go back to our shows, you're just kind of like, yeah, it's just like
you get a ticket. You get a ticket for a hot dog, and you see you later.
Yeah, this is a different deal altogether. But I'm excited to get over there to Chimay. But overall, for you guys, so we also got to go to the Karmann factory as well.
Yes.
Epic picture again. Who knows when a picture like that will be taken? I mean, cars from all over the world that are there. Some of Ritchie's collections, some your car, and we have Rick Sadler's car and some a lot of cars from different places, and obviously the DFL guys are here.
Yeah.
They've got some really really cool Cal-Look cars. These guys are committed to the hobby for sure. So, and they've been also a pretty pivotal part in the whole setup of this orchestrating. The barbecue that we had. That
It's spectacular.
I often think of barbecues that we have back home, and it's like, yeah, maybe we could raise the bar a little bit. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it was pretty incredible, to go to that old farmhouse where they had, all the apartments are rented to people that are car people, and they have working space underneath. So, what has been the most surprising thing that you've noticed since you've been here, like that you didn't think would be, that you're kind of surprised taken away from?
I don't know about surprise, but the level of the Cal-Look cars here, it's just off the chain. It's. I think there's more of them here than in SoCal.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, and the DFL guys got some really nice. There's a couple other club guys here too, and they've got some real nice Cal-Look cars.
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day as we're driving here, how many cars are on the road right now in this group with 48s? Just running 48 IDAs.
Almost all of them.
Yeah, and they're all doing a long haul. I wouldn't really call that a long haul carburetor, but they're proving their worth right now. But I guess it's the level of commitment to the hobby, right? You're willing to put up with a little bit of annoyance with respect to driving some cars that may be a little herky-jerky down the road than a little smooth transition. But your car, Bill, is built for, what's your fourth? Your fourth gear is pretty tall. It's a freeway cruiser?
No, it's got a Berg 5-speed in it.
Oh, so you've got a Berg 5. Yeah, so you've got a stock fourth for fifth?
Yeah, but it's solid mounted. It's
Is it really?
the front is solid mounted. I never finished the rubber mount, so it's just solid. The motor, it's a 10-to-1 2275 with an 86C, and
how's it been running out here with the fuel they have out here on tap?
It runs fine. It runs at 200 degrees and just goes down the road.
Yeah, they've got I think they've got 95.
No,
V-Power 100, which is
100
I think
octane
is
at the-
around 94 or 95
yeah,
US.
it's the Shell stations have 100. Rated European, it's 100 octane, and that's what that's been running on.
Have you checked your mileage at all? See what you're getting?
I don't know, but it gets okay because it made it here on a tank. Unless it's probably got 3/8 of a tank or something in there. A little bit more than a quarter tank. And
What RPM you had on the highway?
well, depending on who's in front of me, but we've been cruising, so it's 2,800, 3,000. We haven't been really.
Yeah, because the average speed, because some of the cars are geared different,
Yeah.
is around 60 mile an hour is about what we're doing, huh?
Well, today I was driving the Aronson Holmes
Scott.
63
And
with no speedometer, no tack.
And I sat in that car for 2 minutes because Lanny got out of the car, and I Greg Aronson's a big dude, and then I sat in the car, but those seats have little to no padding. It's a fiberglass bucket, hard mounted to a rail.
For a child.
Right, for a child. And I think the padding is Kleenex on there. And I sat in it, and they're not the big boy, childbearing
And they're
hips
leaning forward. It's
and they do
really
lean
strange.
forward. That's kind of an odd feeling.
Yeah, and I spent 3 odd hours on that thing. I didn't know how fast I was going. I asked some of the other guys that had more accurate way of tell how the speed. Oh yeah, we're doing between 70 and 75. Like, all right.
Yeah.
It was and it's a vintage build.
Yeah. It's a wild car.
It wasn't relaxing.
Now, so we've had a couple hiccups on the road so far. Now we had right out of the gate. We're leaving Wolfsburg. We had a couple hiccups.
Car I was driving.
Yeah, the car you were driving.
It sounded disastrous, but it was just the speedometer
what it
cable
was?
and the speedometer having a battle with each other, and it
Where it
making
starts to vibrate, makes you
screeching
squeal
sounds,
through the dash.
So
So that was on the Holmes car.
yeah, that was right away, and we kind of made the decision. We wasn't clear what it was, so what we did is just put it into the car hauler, and then by this morning we tried it out again. It was fine.
So now so we had an issue with that. That was the first car to hit the.
2 broken throttle cables on 2 different cars.
Yeah, we had Mark Payne with a broken throttle cable,
And we
he
had
well,
2
he was
cars
ridiculed by
with
5 people
yeah.
changing a cable. It was good.
two different cars with 48 IDA linkage related, like sticking linkage and sticking throttle shaft, which is odd, but it's really hot out here.
Really? So because we had Dean didn't have a lock tab on one of the shafts on
Yeah,
his.
it came loose.
So that came loose.
Oh, and then when we were at Wolfsburg, we had the lineup of cars. I've kind of blocked this out of my memory. And I started there at about 9 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
you were
all
in
these
front of
cars,
Wolfsburg.
all unloaded off the hauler, and I hear the Aronson Holmes car come off the trailer, and that is not happy. Well, there we go. So anyhow, it's on 3 cylinders. Bill and I are like, yeah, that's on 3. And I can't let that happen.
Right. You're not
So
going to
I-
drive
so-
the
so-
iconic the
Yeah.
one.
So I started off with Dean Kirson's new blue car, and it had basically 0 miles on it. So we started working on that. I worked on the Webers, got them sorted, and then we took it to another, where were we? Another town or something. I don't know. We started working on the front suspension.
Yeah.
Got that a little bit better, and then I moved on to Russell's son's red 67.
Right.
Worked on the
Owen
carburetors,
67,
Owens, yeah. And then finally on to the Aronson car. And it needed the carburetors taken off, and they'll go to get rebuilt. And we asked Russell, what are we going to do here? And he said, well, I have 2 NOS 48 IDAs in the back of the van.
Oh, those were
So,
NOS.
yeah, so we took a little video of it right out of the old 70s box.
Yeah.
Just happened to have them. And so we bolted them on the car in the parking lot, set them up, did all the linkage and fuel lines, jets, fired it up, and it's still on 3 cylinders. So anyhow, we worked our way down the line, found a spark plug issue, and got better and better. And
Yeah, so
it's one of those days. This whole
was a long
caravan
day.
is there. People aren't sitting around having lunch.
No.
It's like you're outside all day, you're driving all day, and that's a priority. And basically everybody gets back to the hotel and they just reek of gasoline and big smiles on your face. It's like you smell gas right now.
Yeah, it's Rick's car we just heard pulling up just 2 seconds ago. So, yeah, it's been a great trip. I've had a good time in the catastrophe shuts, just mobbing that thing around. Obviously, I wish I was in my Type 34, but that'll debut at One Crazy Weekend.
It sure looks
now.
good. We were looking at it
It's
in
pretty
primer.
straight. He does some pretty nice work over there.
Beautiful
so.
shop, beautiful cars.
Yeah, I'm excited to get the thing back on the road. I'm excited to get some feedback from you guys after EBI, after you guys experience
we have no idea what we're looking for, right?
the EBI experience. It's large to walk from one end to the other. It's probably half of Pomona size.
wow.
So
Okay.
it's a pretty big size layout. This is going from memory, but it's quite a few acres. And then you've got the drag strip and all that stuff. So it'll be a fun time. And then now, Bill, your car's been trouble free so far. Knock on wood.
Oh yeah, don't.
Yeah. And then Lanny, everything you've touched has gone on the trailer for a minute or so, right? So you had the white car, went on the trailer. What else were you in? Oh, you're with. Now you're riding with Jim.
No, Jim's,
Sam, you're riding with Sam
Jim's
Dix.
car was fine until he had a puncture today. They call it a puncture over here. Yeah. And then Sam's car his son's car was fine.
Yeah, but it did get backed into at.
Yeah, it did get.
Yeah, so we've had.
Yeah,
We've had a
and
couple things.
we were in Bad Camberg, and an old timer backed into it and demolished the front hood.
Yeah, punched the front.
You'll
nose
show a
pretty
picture
good.
of the
Yeah.
signatures on it now. So.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So, well, I'm excited for tomorrow. I mean, with you guys being here, I mean, for me, it's a bit surreal. You know what I mean? It's like, and when you said earlier, like a trip of a lifetime. I mean, that's all I keep thinking is like, there's only one time that this happens, like the first time, and I'm stoked to be on it. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool to be on it and to do it because, like you were saying, Bill, your car's it wasn't built for, by the time we're done with this, almost 600 miles of driving on the highway and through some of the coolest countryside.
Oh, it's been beautiful. It's amazing here.
I mean, you just moved to Tennessee a few years ago. You said it looks a lot like the rolling hills in Tennessee.
It does indeed, yeah.
Yeah, except the freeways are probably a little bit nicer here.
Yeah. No, and the coffee's better.
Yeah. Well, the freeways here, I've been surprised. There was one spot of the freeways that wasn't the best, but for the most part, the freeways have been pretty much glass here.
Amazingly smooth, and you know what? The drivers are very sharp and very smart. It's just you don't see a lot of people doing stupid things on the highway. It's like this. Everything's in order, and this is you put your signal on, like you said. This person moves, and it works so smoothly.
Everybody understands how traffic works.
Yeah, and then the highways are beautifully smooth. I saw one police car the whole time.
I haven't seen.
I got passed by 2 police wagons today, and I thought they were
they're like an Audi
like
wagon.
an Audi wagon. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was 2
and
bumper to
orange.
bumper coming through. Yeah, so I don't know what the deal was with those guys, but they didn't give me. I was in the fast lane, and I was like, maybe I better get out of the fast because I was moving at a clip. We're talking 70, and the crazy part is what's the experience been like when you're actually on the Autobahn section with no highway, with no speed limit?
Okay, well, like this morning, I was driving the white car.
The
and I
Aronson
was,
Holmes car.
at that point, probably doing 70 miles an hour in the middle
Right.
lane. So I have my phone. I know I'm not supposed to handle a phone while driving, but I wanted to do a little quick video.
Right.
So I described it. Here I am on the Autobahn doing, whatever I'm doing, 100 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
65 to 70. And I said, and people are passing me at X amount speed. And then, hang on. And then I move the phone over and look, and 3 shooting brakes, which is the wagons.
Right.
180, 200 kilometers an hour, just boom! It's just perfect timing.
Yeah.
So you just have to make sure you're not in the left lane, and everybody respects everybody else.
That left lane is pretty lethal if you don't if you're not ready for it. I mean, they're coming after it hard.
Yeah,
They're all station wagons, like Audis and big.
They're moving at a pretty big clip. What's funny is that I saw one Porsche today. He was like cruising.
Yeah, so we saw some sort of
I saw a blue convertible.
transit van, not a giant van, but a van, and he was going 120 mile an hour. He passed us like we were parked.
Right. Yeah, they don't play games. When I had a couple guys shoot past that left lane, and I mean these guys were hauling the mail, and it's a little spooky if you're not prepared for it because when they come by, I mean they're moving, so you can see. And maybe that's the reason why people are a little more alert on the traffic here because they know if you're in the left lane, you could get clipped by a guy moving pretty quick, Yeah. But it's been, I think the driving part's been pretty pleasurable. The weather's been pretty good. It gets a little bit
hot right now.
a little bit muggy. I mean, for them, I think they're saying it's 30 degrees over here, and which is. I mean, it's a little gamey, you know what I mean? It's what'd you say? What'd you say in Tennessee? They call it a warm.
A warm hug.
A warm, yeah. It's a warm hug for sure. And I want my creepy Uncle Fester off my back because I don't like this warm hug. But when we went to the Karmann Museum today, was there anything that you guys saw that stood out that was pretty awesome?
Well, a lot of cars that you would have seen in books, like when you were younger, like some of those 4-door police, like a Papler or something like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of the experimental or prototype vehicles, like a Type 3 convertible that I always dreamt of, and there it is.
Right.
And I was impressed by the fact that it's so close to the town. It's right in the town, and that it's not a big high-tech complex. There's still all the old red brick buildings, and it seemed really, really chill.
Yeah. No, it was definitely cool. Anything you?
Well, I saw the Ghia, the 53 Ghia prototype, and upstairs, or I think it was upstairs, was the last Ghia off the line.
Yeah.
So it was the bookends.
Yeah, that's too cool.
For me, I think those are the pair.
Yeah, I think so. We when we were at Wolfsburg, the Type 34 Ghia, the one that there was a prototype that had this crazy swoop on the back that was the Volkswagen that was at Wolfsburg, and then today we saw the fastback version of the Type 34, and then I played the silly American and asked the guy, "Can you take the engine compartment out? Can I look at the engine?" I was trying to get I was about to push to have the front hood opened up too, so I get pictures behind the headlights and all that stuff. But what was interesting about that car is it was a 65. And then as they came out with improvements for the Type 34 Ghia, they would put them on that car. So it's a 65. They put the wood grain dash on it. They put automatic transmission in it. You know, they did all this additional work, which I thought was super cool. And the guy couldn't have been more helpful that was there. You know, like especially when I was just trying to be like, hey, would it be? I thought, well, I might as well ask, right? I mean, I'm here. When's the next time I'm going to be here, standing next to this car, and saying, could you guys do me a favor and open up the boot so I could take a look at what's going on over there?
We saw a couple convertible versions too.
Yeah, the convertibles are
one
wild.
At that private collection today, and then one at Karmann, I think.
Yeah, he had a convertible Type 34.
Or maybe not.
There was two notches.
Yeah, the notchback convertibles. I mean, there was one at Wolfsburg and also one at
Wolfsburg and
one at Karmann also. Yeah, there were two Karmann Ghia convertibles, Type 34 convertibles as well. So those are pretty wild. But it was super cool to see all these super rare cars that we only see in books. And I mean, especially when you look at the different collections, right? You have the Wolfsburg collection, which is VW's heritage over years and time, and then you have the Karmann Ghia, or the Ghia plant, which is Karmann mostly plant, design and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Or the Karmann, right? So, what was the biggest surprise that you saw in there that you didn't know was designed by Ghia?
Well, I don't know about designed by Ghia, but Karmann, I mean, they had.
I mean, yeah.
Lots of different car manufacturers had cars built by Karmann. Jaguar and
what American stuff you see in there?
Well, we saw the Javelin.
Yeah, I wonder why that was there. Yeah,
the traveling Javelin. I'm like,
and
did
then
they
the
do
pre-war cars, which are just wild, like that car that was the very first car designed for the Autobahns. It was 1939. What was the manufacturer? And just a crazy looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and really, really cutting edge. And then you look at a car like that, built by Karmann, and you see the continuity with VW. You see, oh, that's the same gauge bezel. That's the same headlight switch. I mean, you know, they just...
A lot of interchangeable parts and pieces between some of the Karmann cars, right?
Yeah,
you know, and everything from Porsches to I think... you got an AMC in there. You've got Chrysler stuff that's in there. You've got.
Well, you had European. You know, there was the Taunus wagon, which was a Ford, I guess. And there was some early '30s Ford badge things that were built by Karmann.
Yeah, pretty
Ford
wild.
XR4 TA or that.
Yeah, the Cosworth Escorts too. Yeah. So those were pretty wild. Oh, yeah, no, I think it's been a wild trip. I mean, just to be able to see all the things that we're seeing. And then, I mean, between the Porsche collection, I mean, we've seen bookends of everything, right? From the VW collections to the really outrageous Porsche collections. It's been a pretty filled day today. And today, at least, we get a little bit of rest. I mean, we've mostly been just driving, ended up at the hotels, getting on the road about 9, 10 o'clock, and then getting at the hotels around 7, 8 o'clock. I mean, eating dinner at 9.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's like up the next morning and on the road again. So
it's been busy. Not a lot of time to just walk around.
Right.
And go grab a sandwich. It's not like that. And and you look at all these people. Like a lot of these people we're already friends.
Right.
But you spend this amount of time hanging out, and it's created really solid friendships. And also, whenever there's a breakdown or something, a car broke down, the people just swarm together and everybody's trying to help, and that's
what it's about. You know, it's really about the journey. You know what I mean? Like getting on the road and putting the miles behind you on the car, and luckily having the resources in case something happens. It's not a like detrimental situation. It's like, okay, worst case scenario, you throw it on the trailer, you deal with it. And we had stuck throttle shafts on Lance's car yesterday, and
not only a trailer but a full.
Whatever.
The backup resources we have have taken the stress out of, whatever.
Yeah, it really does. Yeah.
That doesn't give you a level of confidence like, what the hell, let's go. I hear a little buzzing, we're just going to keep on going. Yeah. So, well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. Big thanks to Russell and, George with the DFL and these guys for kind of organizing, put this thing on. And I hear there may be rumors grumbling of something else happening in a couple years from now, a different type of maybe something like this. But who knows? We'll find out in the near future. But anything you guys wanted to say before we wrap up?
Well, thank you for Russell and DFL or DHL and all the clubs and
you.
All the logistics that have gone into this. I mean, I think it's been a year planning at least.
Yeah.
and it's fruition, and it's happening.
And definitely worth it. I
Yes,
think is
yeah.
one thing. It was worth it, right?
I feel really lucky to be a part of this. It's like you really pinch yourself. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, we're you'll never, ever, ever forget what we're doing.
It's one of those experiences where it's going to seem like it's forever. It's going to seem like it's forever, and then when it's over, it's like it's already over.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's been since I've been in Germany, since Saturday afternoon.
yeah,
Time has been flying. Tomorrow will be Thursday. We'll be in Chimay tomorrow.
yeah, crazy. It just keeps going. Lanny?
Oh, I was just laughing at all these guys.
Oh, yeah.
All the
All you guys
Brits,
hooting and hollering over
I had
here.
a beer going down. And
Yeah, Jim Dix, Tony, Mark Ray. They had a couple bump-ins today. I mean, the one, I think it was
Yesterday.
Mark Ray rear-ended.
What?
He rear-ended Mark Payne earlier today. So we may get them on for a minute or two, just talk about the
Yeah,
little
you know
fender
what,
better
there's-
that they had
some of these
in the
cars
lineup
have
at the
some
Karmann.
scars.
In the
There's
lineup
these
at the
cars,
Karmann
yeah.
factory, but.
Yeah, there's some damage, but nothing
That's
nothing
it.
scary.
Nothing you can't fix, right? So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you. Thanks for coming on. Give me some
Thank you.
feedback.
Thank you, Bill.
All right, guys.
You probably don't know that there's a new Volkswagen out that doesn't look like a Volkswagen.